Hi, hello. Don't know whether I'm too low down, too high up. Well, that's a bit better. Still looking very dark, isn't it? I look like I'm in the gathering gloom, don't I? Maybe it's because I'm wearing such a dark colour. Anyway, hello, whoever's here. Hi, June. Hello. Oh, dearie me. It's very cold, isn't it? Oh, I forgot my lipstick. Forgot to put my lipstick on. Hello, Lydia. I forgot to put my lippy on. Hang on a minute. Oh. That's a bit better. Trying to look a bit more human. Oh dear, what a day. It's freezing, isn't it? Hi, Jill. I've got the log fire going and I'm going to put a shovel of coal on in a bit. But for the moment, it's all right with the logs burning. Hi, Chris. How's everybody today? I hope you're not as cold as I am. It's a bit freezy, isn't it? Oh dear, I've been a busy bee today. Been making videos all day, trying to sort out my stuff ready for the craft fair next week. Still got a lot of work to do. I've got to measure everything and price everything and do everything. Hi Lydia, it's cold with heavy mist and light rain. I don't know whether it's raining or not. I've not been outside yet. Yeah, I'm hoping to sell some things, you know. That's me, isn't it? Ever optimistic. I thought, well, if you don't put yourself out there, you don't get anywhere. Hi, Jill. Well, you've caught us now then, if you hadn't caught our lives before. You caught us today. So I'm just trying to finish off this little bit of a body work on a baby cardigan. Then I want to start the sleeves. I'm sorry now I started this basket stitch pattern because it takes ages to do. Yeah. You know, it's sort of one of those patterns that gobbles up the wool and takes forever to do because it's front post, back post and everything, yeah. So, at least, oh, what are you doing, Janet? Concentration. Hi, Jill. You're nice and early today. Hello, hello, Jill. Lovely to see you. It's always lovely to see everybody. Oh, you're watching my other videos. Oh, good. I'm glad somebody does. I would hate to think that I'd spent all afternoon talking to myself. Although I'm quite good at that, really. I'm quite good at talking to myself. Oh, I think I've done enough of the. Oh, I have finished off. Oh, thank you, Jill. Well, obviously, I think they're lovely because I made them. You know, hang on me while I blow my own trumpet. Do, 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 do. Hi, Amanda. There we go. Finished the back and the two fronts. I've got to start the sleeves now. Am I feeling better? Well, I've got my painkillers here to take. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, the doctor said this. There's nothing wrong with me, so you have to say, oh, there's nothing wrong with you. It takes a lot of doing, though, this backwards and forwards in. I made myself a cardigan once in it. It was lovely. It was white with navy trim on it, very sort of nautical. And it was lovely. I don't know why I got rid of it. Maybe I grew out of it because I did put a lot of weight on. Maybe that's what it was. Maybe I should make myself another one, although I'm not keen on this frontwards and backwards and stuff like that. It takes a lot of doing. Where's my grey gone? Oh, it's over there. Excuse me a minute while I find my grey, because I need grey to start the bottom of the cuff off. Oh, ow. Ooh, 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 ooh. Oh, Janet, there's nothing wrong with you. The doctor said there's nothing wrong with you, so stop grumbling. Oh, every time I move, blooming heck, I feel like somebody stabbed me. Oh, you managed to make... I can't do that, Jill. You're very clever. I need you to come and make me some, Chris. I can't make good chicken soup. It has to come out of the tin. You know me, dear. What are you doing today? I am so disorganised. It's just untrue. I really am disorganised tonight. Ugh. I can't do anything. My son keeps saying to me, oh, that's our Victoria. She's picking me up tomorrow. That's my niece. Right, let me see if I can do a thumbs up. Right, I can. That's my niece answered. Oh. Somebody got the same magazine as me. No, my son keeps saying, you can do it on the big TV. You can do this, you can do that. Other people may be able to do it, but not me. Hi, the word be true. Hello there. Hello, everybody, and I hope everybody's fine and you've all got your crafting. No, I'm not going to Prestwich tomorrow. I'm going out, but not to Prestwich, yeah. I'm going somewhere with my niece, but sadly not to Prestwich. Other parts. I've got to make 29 chains, so you'll have to bear with me while I count to 29. Right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29. I've got 29. You're expecting your daughter soon. I hope you mean a ready-made daughter and that you're not like in labour at the moment. I don't think you do that. I don't think you'd be here if you were in labour, would you? Slip stitch to form a ring. Oh, I didn't know the sleeves were done in a circle. I don't think I'm going to do them in a circle because with the stitch I've decided to do it, I don't think it would work very well. Right, no, I'm not going to do it into a circle. It's a bit awkward, isn't it, the stitch? Oh, she's fully grown. I'm so glad about that. I'd hate to think you were in labour at the moment, yeah. Right. Now, you see, I'm using a pattern, but I'm not doing the stitch it said. The stitch it said was in a cable. When I tried it, it was coming out very, very sloppy. So I decided not to do it in that stitch and to do the stitches of, you know, cast on or chain on, the stitches that were meant to be, but alter the actual stitch it was done in. So that means really I don't think I want to go around in a circle, if you understand what I'm saying. Because I don't think that basket stitch would work very well going round in a circle. You know, it wouldn't be me if I didn't alter the pattern. It wouldn't be me if I did anything from A to B in A to Z in a pattern. I'm lucky if I get as far as B, yeah. because I'm always, I don't know whether it's big-headed or what, but I'm like, no, no, that doesn't work. I'm doing it some other way. Denise has just sent a message to one of her friends and it's popped up on here because I'm part of the group, and she said she needs to find a pot of gold somewhere. I know the feeling really well, Denise. I need to find a pot of gold. It is lottery tonight, but of course, as usual, I may win nothing or I may win a lucky dip if I'm lucky. And that'll be about it. I don't think I'm a lucky person. I did never find, I never found the leprechaun and the pot of gold and, the gold at the end of a rainbow. I never found that. They say you're either lucky in money or you're lucky in love, but somehow along the line, I'm not lucky in either. The men I chose in my life never turned out okay. Oh, somebody shared me post. I hope it was one of my videos they shared. The more, the merrier. If people share my videos, it makes me happy, 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 because it means more people might see my things and might actually buy something from me. I'm looking for that wonderful person who's going to be my marketing manager, where I just sit and crochet and they do the selling for me, because I really am hopeless. I don't have that business head that other people have. Some people are really good, aren't they, at things like that? Promoting themselves and pushing themselves forward and getting themselves noticed. And I'm just not one of those people. Not one at all. I'm going to do a bit of a cough now because I've got 5 thumbs up and there's 22 people in the room. I'm just like hinting, just subtly hinting that maybe somebody in the room would like to give me a thumbs up. Oh, thank you. I got 6 now. You don't get anywhere unless you're cheeky, do you? I've decided that's what I need to be. Yeah, I absolutely suck at it, really. I really do, Jill. I'm rubbish at self-promotion. I can't go up to people in the street and say, hey, I'm Jan and I crochet. Would you like to see what I've got? I'll show you my web page. Oh, thank you. I've got 11 thumbs up now. Thank you very much. I'm just absolutely rubbish. When somebody says, oh, I like what you've got on, I just say, thank you. I don't say, thank you, I made it myself, and if you would like one like it, then come to my webpage, because I don't have a webpage, then come to my Facebook and, everything. But I'm daft as a brush. I don't do things like that. Hello, Denise. Hello. Oh, some of the young ones today, talk about blow their own trumpet. They're in the whole brass band, aren't they? Everything is cute. I've decided that must be the word that the young people use. When they're making a video, they'll say, do you like this cute top? I think it's really cute. Isn't it adorable? It's so cute. Oh, thank you. Is it Anglesy? Anglesly, Anglesly. I want to say Anglesey, like the place. So maybe I pronounce it wrong. I don't know. Because I'm rubbish at pronunciation. When I worked at the job centre and he had to shout, oh, thank you. When he had to shout people's names out, I always used to get the people who were Polish, with the names that were about that long, that had S's and Z's in them, and you're thinking, oh, no, I've got to shout this name out. And I'm going to say it wrong and I hope they don't get insulted. It is very difficult when you have to say people's names out loud, and you don't know whether it's phonetic or what. Yeah, happy Saturday to everyone, and I hope you've got no snow. The UK's got piles and piles of snow, but we don't have any. So it's sprinkled for about a half inch. Oh, hi, Magali. It sprinkled for about half an inch and then it just disappeared. So I guess we're lucky. Or maybe it's like my dad used to say, it's too cold to snow. Maybe that's what it is. You got tons of snow. No, we got about a half inch. I missed it because I was in bed. It was very early morning, apparently, and my son got up to let the dogs out, and there was about a half inch. But by the time I came out of my little pit, which was more like a civilized hour, the snow had melted, yeah. My old house, I'm still on the WhatsApp group for my old street. And I believe on my old street, which is like that, it was snowing and they were struggling to get their cars up the hill. But that's nothing new. It was like that every winter. When it was like that, I just couldn't get out in my mobility scooter. I couldn't, yeah. So, not much snow for you. No, apparently where I am in Fleetwood, because we're so close to the sea, it's something to do with the salt in the air. That means that, it doesn't sort of stick, yeah. Yeah. There we are, little start of the sleeve. Right, pattern rows. Keeping continuity of pattern, working pattern rows are set. Increase one treble at the end of next and every alternate row. That's going to be a bit quick because I'm doing a different pattern on different needles. Different hooks, I should say. I always do this to myself and then I have to change everything, yeah. You've got halfway clean. Well, when you've done that, Jill, can you nip over here and fly over here and help me? What I need actually is a lovely sunny day so I can take the bags and the boxes outside. Then ow, that hurt. Then I can have a good clear out in the shed. As I say, the wool is all up off the shelves. It's all in plastic bags, so it's not going to get dirty or anything like that. But I've got all my crochets on rails or it's in those plastic boxes. I don't know what you call them, tubs with lids on. So I can't move things. I'm like shuffling from like A to B when there's no room. I need to empty the space in order to sort it out and put it back in, if that makes any sense to anybody. But obviously I can't do that when the grass is wet through and it rains. So I'm hoping that it's going to get nice and dry and sunny. And then I can do that. Yeah. My shed is just disorganized. Everything hasn't got its own place. And this is the problem. I need to really sort of put my double knits in one place, my 4-plies in another place, my chunky, my Aran, sort it all out properly. At the moment, I'm like, I go in and I think, I know I've got it, but where is it? So I'm like scanning up and down the shelves. And I'm missing a lot of things because I don't know where I put them. If I find a little space on a shelf, it goes in, So it's not a good idea, really. At one time when I lived at my other house, I thought, I'm going to make an inventory. That lasted about a day. Where I make an inventory of everything I had. I used to have it all written in a book at one time. How many balls of everything I had and like where it was. But like Topsy, my stash grew and grew and grew. And I never updated my inventory. I never thought, right, I've got this packet, this packet. I need to add it to the book where everything is. And I never did. So my inventory was up the wall, really. So I don't think I'll ever do an inventory, you know. Because at the time when I did that one, I had like Word and stuff on my computer, you know. Yeah, I don't put things together with colours. I put things together with weights. So if I need 4-ply or something, I know where the 4-ply is. And I need double knit, I know where the double knit is. That's what I need to do. Oh, hi, is Nathan coming? Hi, Nathan. Sorry, I missed you, darling. I missed you coming in, and I wouldn't miss you for the world, as you know. Yeah. So that's what I need to do, but that's, I would love, to have help. Everybody that would say they would help me lives a million miles away, literally thousands of miles away in America, or they live down south and, like me, they don't have transport. So, yeah, it's times like this I miss my Sue and Kelly, of course, because Kelly used to help me. You know, they would really get stuck in and do lots of things for me, and it was great. My life was more organized back then. I mean, they both used to go home with a great big black bin bag full of wool. Oh, I've never tracked me wool on Ravelry. I don't want to put it on Ravelry in case people start saying, hey, will you sell me this? Or hey, will you sell me that? So, the answer would probably be no. So that's why I don't track it on Ravelry, because people know what you've got then, don't they? And if they're short of a ball, they'll say, oh, can you sell me a ball? And you're like, no, because I've got 14 and I need 14 for what I want to do. So no, I won't sell you a ball. Yeah, so that's why I don't use Ravelry. I admire people who do. I shop in my stash. That's what I do, technically, theoretically speaking. But whenever I want something, like a particular colour or something, it's always the one colour I don't have. Have you noticed that, people? You've got a million balls of wool in your stash. And yet, if you want 2 balls of red, you haven't got it. Yeah. I'm trying hard not to buy anything. I really am trying very hard. I'm doing quite well. I'm only really buying anything I actually need for a certain specific purpose. Yeah. 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 It would take me forever, Lydia. You've seen all the stuff I've got in my shed. I need somebody standing by the side of me with their fingers tapping while I said, I've got so many balls of this, tap, 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 tap. So many balls of that. Tap, 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 tap. I need a marketing manager, yeah. One that will work for yarn or peanuts. That's what I need. I need to be organized, which I'm not. And I wish I was. I wish I was one of these fantastically organized people who knows exactly where everything is and knows exactly what they've got and plots their time out. I'm going to do an hour of crochet. I'm going to do an hour in the shed. I am so disorganized. I really, really am. I'm like Will o' the Wisp. I'll get up in the morning and I'll say, right, today I am going to be, gosh, I sound like Matthew Kelly, don't I? Today I am going to be Shania Twain. Yeah, I get up in the morning and I think, yeah, I'm going to do this and that and the other. And then I sort of tittle about a bit, have a shower, have my breakfast, look at the clock and think, oh, It's lunchtime. And I haven't done anything. Oh, I see. You started it when you'd almost no yarn, yeah. I was smiling at one of my friends, and she said, I'm completely disorganized at the moment because she had all her wool on some kind of shelving, that sort of collapsible shelving, with the little plastic things with the mesh. And apparently she stuffed so much in it, it's all collapsed. So she's as bad as me. Hers is all falling on the floor because all her shelving collapsed. Sounds a bit like me. I do things like that. But my son actually bolted all mine to the shed wall, so at least it won't fall on me. Because I've only got that cheap plastic shelving, that you buy, meant for garages and stuff. I haven't got lovely ones. I would love IKEA ones with the cubes, but that will never, ever happen. So I've just got shelves, which is why I can't do loose, because there's no sides in my shelves. So if my wool was loose, it'd be falling out the edges and everywhere. So it has to be in packages, so at least it stays on the shelf. Yeah. Oh, I've got no. When I say I've got nothing on the floor, I've got boxes on the floor. I've not got any actual wool on the floor or yarn on the floor. That would drive me potty. You see some people and they've got yarn spilling out all over the floor and everything. That would drive me nutty. I have to have some kind of organisation. I have to have them in packages. I have to know where they are and they're nice, clean, neat. I could not have piles of things on the floor. I've got boxes on the floor. I've got laundry bags on the floor with stuff in. But I've got nothing loose, on the floor, if you know what I'm saying. That would really make me potty. I look at some people's stash rooms and I'm thinking, how can you know what you've got when you've got a mountain? I would be frightened of, well, not so much moths, but, some kind of insects and even potentially mice, really. I just wouldn't want things on the floor, you know. But that's just me. I would love to have a beautiful place, like that lady from Secret Yarnery, she called Christy. Everything beautifully and lovely white shelving and stuff. Oh, I would think I was in heaven with all of that. It all boils down to expenses, doesn't it? If we were rich, yeah. Hi, Rick. How are you today? Have you got snow? We're having a head count who's got snow and who hasn't got snow. Yeah. Yeah, Krista. Yeah, I think she has moved. I mean, I saw one of her videos where I don't think she's living in Dubai, but she went to Dubai to this fantastic wool shop in Dubai. I think she got invited there by the owner. And oh my goodness me, what a wool shop that was. That was fantastic. I don't know whether you watched that video or not. When she said, come shopping with me. It was oh, not that I could have afforded to have shopped in it, but it was still nice to have a look round. And they didn't only sell wool, they sold all kinds of things as well, yeah. Yeah, she's still been making videos, Chris. She did move, but I don't think she's moved. I think she's only moved house. I don't think she's moved countries. I don't know why she moved. I don't watch her that regularly to know why she moved. Must be a reason why. But I am so envious of anybody who has a massive craft room. I'm jealous of you, Jill, because at least your she shed is big enough, if you know what I mean. Mine's really too small. Yeah. Oh no, I've not heard of that one, Lydia. Has anybody else heard of it? To be honest with you, I'm trying hard not to order anything. I'm trying hard to just work my way through a lot of stuff. I am considering, fishing a few more packets out and putting them on eBay. Yeah, her laugh is a little bit grating, if I dare say so. She's a lovely lady, don't get me wrong. I'm not calling her names or anything, but her laugh is a little bit, you know, it's a little bit, isn't it? Yeah, Chris, I agree with you. But she's a lovely lady, and I'm sure her heart's in the right place. But like you say, I can only watch her for a while. But I did watch that one from. Don't say the word fishing. No, definitely, I'm not a fisher woman, fisher man, whatever you want to call it. Fisher they, if you're Sam Smith, or fisher them. Is it? Oh God, I'm not going into that lot. I'd be dead in trouble if I was ever anywhere near him. Yeah. You have a bit more room to move about, though, Jill. I don't have any room to move about. I've just got like, I feel like I'm moving A to B, B to A. That's why I'm waiting for a nice, hot, sunny day to yank everything out of the shed that's loose, boxes and stuff, and put it all outside. Because I've actually got lots of empty boxes in there, just stacked one on top of the other, yeah. I've not even seen that site, Anglesey. Not even seen it. So it's a good job I haven't, because I might be tempted to order. And I am definitely not ordering things. The last things I ordered were those knitting needles. And, that was a treat to myself. I didn't need them. I could have done quite well without them. But I just fancied. I've not bought any knitting needles since I had the shop. So I just fancied treating myself, yeah. It's really cheap, free shipping. Is that free shipping to the UK though? Oh, I'm not doing any hauls, Denise. Oh, I daren't. There was a time when I would have done hauls, but you've got some in the front room. I've got some empty ones, but at the moment I don't want to get rid of them in case I need to put the finished garments back into totes rather than be on the rail. I put them on the rail thinking it would be easier and take up less room, but the jury's out. Yeah. You're going to need a shed to live in. I wonder how. I'm still waiting for Shad to put some photos up. Tiny houses fascinate me. I could quite happily live in one provided I had enough room, like a storage space. I could live in a little tiny house, but I would need another craft space, if you know what I mean. I couldn't craft in a tiny house. There wouldn't be any space, would there? Your space is very limited. The actual living in it, yes, provided it wasn't a loft bedroom. I mean, Shadow's got a loft bedroom and he's fitter than me because he climbs up there. I'd be so scared of falling down. Yeah. Laying there in my tiny house and nobody knowing I'd fell over. Yeah. Yeah, I would have to have a ground floor bedroom. I really would. Yeah. But it'd be okay if you had another, you had like two tiny houses side by side. And the second tiny house was just a craft space. Yeah. I need another room. I really do need another room. I know I've got the shed, but the shed isn't, I've got no space to do my crafting in the shed. That's why I need to do my organisation. I've got 2 big laundry bags now full of stuff that are brought into price and measure, and they're in the snug. She's not going to be happy, but I am not sitting in the shed freezing cold with my Sharpie and my tape measure. Besides which, I can't put anything down anywhere, and I'm sure as heck not going to put things on the floor. So I need in here, where I've got a great big table in the conservatory, where I can at least spread everything out. I've only got next week to do it because I'm out tomorrow. Yeah. A hallway, you mean, in the garden? I don't think they'd like that. Yeah. They're still trying to reseed the lawn, which is a bit of a waste of time. It's too cold. It's too cold. I need floor to ceiling in the snug. I need to commandeer the snug and say, right, if you're not going to use the snug, I'm commandeering it. But there's no room in there because there's a massive, great big sofa in there. Hi, Rebecca. Yeah, there's a massive, big sofa in there, so I can't put floor to ceiling in there anyway. But as I say, it will all get sorted in the end. It'll all come out in the wash, as my mum used to say. I think I need to get a pencil and a bit of paper because I'm forgetting where I'm up to. I've got the brain capacity of a goldfish. You know, it doesn't work very well. My scooter is still squeaking, but I bought myself a tiny little, is that, yeah, that's the room they don't use, but, well, it's got a huge whopping sofa in there that goes like, sort of like an E shape without the middle E. So there isn't any room for me to use it anyway, it's full. But they don't really use it, no. Right, let me see what I need to do. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. That's what I need to do for my pattern is 1, 2, 3. And I need to do me increasing every other row until I get to how many stitches. 43. And how many did I start off with? 29, yeah. Right, 43 less 29 is 14, isn't it? So I need to do 14 increases. Well, no. That's 7 rows, isn't it, because of 14 increases. You have to excuse me talking to myself. Hi, Isaac. I like talking to myself. You get the best answers, don't you? Oh, I need to take my painkillers. I've got a headache. Got a headache. The hair. Oh, I did it. I sheet dipped it. Yeah. My grey was showing through, and I wasn't liking it. Hi, Ethan. I don't like growing grey gracefully. I'm growing old, kicking and screaming, you know. I'm not quite vain enough like for the Botox and stuff like that, but I've got glasses actually, but when I put them on, it reflects the light, yeah. I don't like wearing my glasses because that gives me a headache because they press. I'm one of those strange people. The optician said I'm not on my own. that if anything presses on the back of the ears, it makes me feel sick. So I could either do with those glasses that go straight like that, or whatever. Yeah, you need to feed the poor little birdies. I think you keep sending some over to us because they keep eating our grass seed. Yeah. Are you back? Good show. I know, but if I have them slackened off, they fall down. The pigeons, you'd love them, Isaac. They are pigeons, and they're cheeky little beggars. I keep having to go out flapping my hands to push them away. Hi, Jeanette. Yeah, I've got my glasses. They're actually here in my Kylie Minogue. Kylie Minogue glasses. Why she's got to do with them, I don't know. I don't think she's had anything to do with the glasses. They just pinched her name. But you see, when I put them on, all I can see is the thing glinting. And they don't actually help at all. They're supposed to be my prescription, but I think they got me muddled up with somebody else. So I'm not going to wear them. I've took my painkillers now, so hopefully my headache will go away. This is the second case, by the way. Rosie ate the first one. She was eating me gloves this morning. Yeah. I had to stop her eating me gloves. There's no room. If I commandeer it, Lydia, there's no room for anything, any shelving on the wall or anything like that. Because this sofa it's a small room, a tiny, tiny room. It was my bedroom when we first moved in. And it's tiny, yeah. Oh, see, I'm still doing it. Do you know I can't count to 3? Can't count to 3 without a piece of paper and a pencil. It's pathetic, isn't it? My time of life, I can't count to 3. Hi, Shad. Yeah, I've got my necklace on, whatever. It's actually, it's broken. I need to sort it. So it's a bit lopsided because it's broken. It's coming apart at one edge there somewhere. I need to sort it. But I've got some more necklaces coming. I've won, only plainy ones that I've won off eBay. Some I'll keep, some I won't keep, Yes, snug justice for me. That's right, Lydia. You tell them all. There's no TV in there and nothing, so it's a bit boring in there anyway. It's like the conservatory. It's beautifully warm in the conservatory, but the telly's not switched in. I can't reach round the back to plug it in. So it's a bit boring in the conservatory. Come on, Shad, we're waiting for your pictures, your photos of your tiny house. We're all waiting. We're all agog here. Waiting for the photos. You're not going fishing today, Shad? I don't get notified about anybody, Shad. I don't know what's going on with YouTube. I have to go into my subscriptions and try and find out if anybody's put a video up. If I'm actually on YouTube, it flashes up that somebody's put a video. But if I'm not actually on YouTube, then I don't get notified. I mean, why did this stop? When you used to get the email notifications, when did this stop doing them? It'll all be to do with cost cutting, won't it? Stuff like that. You know, I'm just looking, make sure my fire's still going. Yeah, I've got a shovel full of coal ready to put on it. Everything keeps... Oh, good, your pictures are coming soon. It's always change, isn't it, with everything? Change with Facebook, change with Instagram. And you wouldn't mind if there are ever changes for the better. There might be changes for better for the people who own Facebook, Instagram, whatever. But they're not for the users, are they? We get more and more adverts on Facebook and everything, don't we? Yeah, desktop notifications. I only get them if I'm actually in YouTube watching something on YouTube. Then the notification flashes up at the right-hand side. But if I'm not in YouTube, I don't get any notifications at all. It's very irritating. So if it was a live coming up, I wouldn't know about it unless I was tuned into... I left YouTube running all the time, which you don't do you really? You only leave YouTube running if you're using it. Well, I do anyway. But at one time, I used to get email notifications or other kind of notifications saying such a body's going live. But no, I don't get that. So I miss anybody's lives because by the time I get the notification, by the time I notice, the live's not alive anymore. And I don't really like watching lives when they're not live. You understand me? I only like watching lives when they are actually alive, yeah. So, you know, because I don't get the chat at the side when they're not lives anymore. Oh, what are you doing, Janet? Do you use the laptop? What, do you leave it running though, or do you get the notifications, Shad? Because I don't. You know, I just... as I say, everything changes and never for the better. Well, it does in my case anyway. You know, if they say, oh, this is happening and this is happening, it's never for the better for the subscribers, is it? You know, for the people who use. It's never for the better. It's probably for the better of the people. I mean, I've got rid of the shorts, thankfully. My friend gave me a workaround so I don't get any shorts anymore, thankfully, because I really hate them. They really bug me. I do not want to watch 2 minutes of something or other. If I'm sitting down to watch YouTube, I want at least a decent length. You know, at least sort of 20 or 30 minutes, yeah. I don't want to watch a 5-minute burst or something or other. I'd rather not bother, you know. And some people are going, oh, well, you know, shorts is the way forward. And oh, God, yeah. I'm old-fashioned. Oh, excuse me. That was a hiccup that went wrong. Oh. When my grandma used to do that, she used to say she was crowing like a, you know, like a hen or a cockatoo or whatever you want to call it, yeah. It's Oscar weekend. Oh, I'm sure I'll survive without that. I'm using Chrome, yeah. Yeah, when people say, press the notification bell and all that jazz, and I thought, well, it doesn't work. Waste of time. I always press the, you know, subscribe and notify me. Always press that, and it never works. And they don't notify me. Is anybody bothered about the Oscars? because I certainly am not. Yeah. Oh, thank you to this, thank you to that, thank you to the, oh, load of rubbish. It doesn't matter if you press it or not, lady, you still won't get notified. So, you might as well not bother. Oh, I don't even look at the fashions, especially if it's somebody like Sam Smith squeaking across in his plastic. Or somebody wearing half a frock with all the boobies spilling out. What's that got to do with being a good actor or actress? Yeah. Well, that was the only excitement we had, was when he got smacked in the mouth, wasn't it? Yeah. At least it was a bit of excitement, wasn't it? Usually it's all thank you, thank you, thank you, and all that rubbish. Sycophant, is it called? Sycophant or bum licking, yeah. Oh, yeah, maybe somebody will punch somebody. It's all probably choreographed anyway. Let's trip up the steps and show our knickers. Yeah. Or let's have a boob hangout by accidentally on purpose so I'll get in the papers the following morning. Pathetic. Yeah. Do you know, Rick, who cares? Yeah. I don't really care. I don't really care who cheats on who's sleeping with who's what. Some people thrive on that sort of stuff. And I don't give a hoot about the Kardashians. If it wasn't for Daddy Kardashian's money, they wouldn't be anybody, would they? They can't do anything. They're not talented, are they? They're just famous for being famous. Yeah. No, I'm not into all that. Oh, hello, designs by Jean. Hello. No, I'm not into all this celebrity nonsense. I don't give a damn. What are they doing in their private life is what they do in their private life, and I don't care. Unless it affects anybody negatively, like they've murdered somebody or anything like that. I'm not interested in what colour they've painted the living room. OK magazines, load of whatnot in it. No, I don't care. It's nothing to do with money, Shad. It's just I just don't care. I'm not interested. Not interested in what they do at all. As I say, unless they kill somebody, you know, I'm not bothered. They can sleep with who they want, they can do with what they want, and I'm not interested. I have a laugh at the facelifts and stuff like that. I mean, what the heck is Madonna all about now? She looks like an egg. No, I mean, to me, they're like the old-fashioned movie stars you only knew about what went on screen. You didn't know anything about what went on behind the scenes. They were always just Hollywood greats, weren't they? And that's the way you liked them. You liked them because they were like John Wayne or somebody. You didn't want to know about John Wayne's private life. You didn't want to know about how many kids he had, whether he was faithful to his wife or not. You just wanted John Wayne to be a cowboy, didn't you? And that was the end of it. And I just wish it would stay like that. I just don't want to know. Maybe other people are nosy and want to know what's going on. No, it's like, you know, I'm so oppressed, I'm so this, I'm so that, with all of my money. Like the rest of us are worried about paying the electric bill. It's, they live a completely different life. And it doesn't interest me in the slightest. Yeah. I'm more interested in somebody who's gone to a craft show or somebody who's gone to a catwalk. Or what's the latest fashion trends in crochet is what I'm interested in. Everything else just washes over me. That's the only thing I'm interested in. What's the colour of the season? What's everybody making? Oh gosh, I wouldn't want the pressure being on top of anything, really. I think once you climb the ladder and you're on the top, the only way is down, innit? And the only way they stay on top is to invent all these whatever so they can get in the paper again because they know that their popularity is sliding. No, what a life. If you're not in the papers, you get worried. Oh, goodness me. I would hate to be in the paper. The only paper I probably go is in the death column, That'll be the only time I see my picture in the paper. There goes Janet. I believe she once did crochet, yeah. 5-minute wonder. When will I be famous? When will I see my picture in the paper? I would rather my picture was in a crochet magazine. Wow, look at this great designer in Fleetwood. Woohoo, here she is. Hi, Katie. That will never happen. Do you ever notice in crochet magazines, though? Oh, thank you, Jill. In crochet magazines, it's always the same people, isn't it? Over and over and over again. And I think to myself, are they the only crochet designers that they can find? Do they never go out looking for somebody new? I mean, no offense to somebody like Bella Coco, but she's in everything. Every time I open a magazine, Bella Coco, and I'm thinking, oh, for goodness sake, is there only her in the world that does crochet? Find somebody different. I'm bored with her designs. Find somebody else, yeah. Crochet Foundry magazine. I looked at one magazine the other day and I thought, oh, that looks nice. I think it was called Woolzit or something. And they were £25. And I thought, no, I'm not paying that for a magazine, for goodness sake. I'd want a signed autographed copy. Oh, hi, Cass. You're already in bed. Oh, blimey. I'm opening my bottle. As long as your job's going well, Kaz, that's all that matters. And you're enjoying it. That's all we always want for you, is that you're enjoying your new job. Oh, you sacked as a barmaid, Janet. You just got too much froth. Yeah, I can't think what this pattern book was called. And I thought, oh, that looks quite nice. And it was £25. And it was only kind of like I think it's called Wolves It or something. I don't know what it's called. I know it ended with an IT. But £25. I thought, no. You can post your link on here, Rick. I don't mind people posting links if they're people that we know when they're in here. I just don't like trolls, that come in and try and post links, trying to drum up trade or something. I don't like that. But I don't mind us promoting ourselves, yeah. Well, Ramos, Lama, do you crochet? Do you knit? Do you craft? What do you do? Oh, that's a bit of a nothing packet, isn't it? Doesn't look like there's anything in it. What am I drinking? Dandelion and burdock. No, I don't see your link, Rick. Are you sure you posted it in here? Well, that's a bit of a nothing. Look at that. That's how many crisps are in that packet. What a waste of space and time that packet was. I'm sorry, whoever it is that doesn't like me crinkling. I'm sorry. Oh. Oh. I didn't know that, Denise. What am I making? I'm making a baby's cardigan at the moment. I'm just on the sleeves. Nothing very thrilling. Well, I don't know, Denise, either. As you know, I'm not computer savvy, so I wouldn't like to say if anything's true or not. I've just noticed on here, the little spanners are missing. People used to have little spanners next to their name. I want to just notice that they're missing. Does that mean, Jill, does that mean that they've vanished or what? Because I know people in here had spanners. Oh, it's true about everything, Lashira. Mars bars, everything goes smaller, don't they? Yet you're paying more for them. Oh, Isaac's got a spanner and Chrissy's got a spanner. Isaac has a spanner. I know that Nathan has a spanner. Yeah, I just thought there were more people with a spanner. That's all, Katie, yeah. Maybe the people with spanners are just not in. Or maybe the people with spanners have left me. They don't love me anymore. They've all gone. Nobody loves me anymore. Come and get your loved. You're loved or your love. That's not grammatically correct, is it? Come and get your loved. Uh-huh. These are very salty. Mm. Maybe I should put my coal on my fire. Hang on. Ooh, 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 ooh. Mm. Oh, gosh. All right, that should sort it out now. That should be okay now until I go to bed. Oh. Oh, dear. Oh, gosh. Oh. Oh, blimey. Oh, breathing in and out. Breathing in and out is difficult. I remember once when I was young, we decided we'd go to Wigan Pier because that was the home of Northern Soul. So I was driving and I got my friend and we got all dressed up. And it was the one night that they didn't hold the Northern Soul because they were redecorating. Yeah, Northern Soul was very much. In fact, they have Northern Soul nights here in Blackpool. Mm. You've only second pair of socks? Oh, she's turning into a sock monster. You'd be like those women that only make socks and don't make anything else. You know, you watch some channels and all they do is knit socks, and I'm like, yeah, quite like knitted socks, but I don't want to watch channel after channel after channel, or episode after episode after episode, where all they're making is socks. I'm like, how many feet have you got? You know, and they're making dozens and dozens and dozens of pairs of socks. And I'm like, how many feet have you got? You know, they have more socks than there's like days in a month. And I'm like, don't you not wash them? You know? Surely like 7 or 8 pairs of socks is enough. Or do you only wash once a month or something? You know, why would you want all those socks? You know? And they open the drawer and they've got a drawer full of handmade socks. And I'm like, how many feet have you got? Hi, John. I can understand people having 7 pairs of socks. Or they wouldn't go missing if they were handmade, Isaac, yeah. I just can't understand why people would pay 20 or $30, pounds for one skein of yarn to make 1 pair of socks. Hang on a minute, they're going in your shoes. Who's going to look at them? Only you. The only bit that shows maybe is a little bit the ankle. I actually saw a post where they had like see-through boots, like plastic see-through boots, so that you could show your socks off. And I thought, that's all very well, but they'd be very wet and sweaty, wouldn't they? You know, your feet inside plastic. They're like see-through Wellingtons, you know. I'm sorry, but I wouldn't want see-through Wellingtons. I'm going to have a Cadbury's cream egg now. Can't resist them. Cadbury's cream eggs. I must buy loads of them, you know, before they go out of season again. I'm trying to think what yarn I used to buy, what wool I used to buy. It wasn't dear. It was commercial. I can't think what it was. But it definitely wasn't £20 a ball, yeah. Yeah, he's got to wear his green hat. Or a green tie, or a green t-shirt, aren't you, John? Mm-hmm. I don't like it when people call it St. Patty's Day. It's St. Patrick's or St. Paddy's. Patty is something that Jamaicans eat. That's a patty. Or it's a cow pat. But it's not St. Patty's Day. I've no idea who Jam Morant is either. You're all right, Kaz. You're not on your own. Hi, Melly. Oh, that's why we don't know him then. I watched a lady called Crochet 80HD, I think she's called. She's called Jackie. And she volunteered to knit her husband a pair of socks. And all the way through the video, she keeps saying, but knitting is so slow. She keeps saying, I could have made 3 sweaters, she said, in crochet. And I've done that much on his socks because it's so slow. I think it's a bit like netball, Kaz, when we used to play netball when we were kids. The only basketball I ever knew was the Harlem Globetrotters. That guy called Lemon, was he called? It's like footballers over here. They have too much money and they usually get drunken by, high-powered cars and kill themselves. Yeah. I was never tall enough for netball. Why is it when I send people links, they keep telling me that they won't open? I don't know. Maybe it's their settings. My dad used to absolutely love the Harlem Globetrotters, yeah. He used to laugh and laugh and laugh. Oh, thank you, Jean. I've eaten the middle out of my egg. It's like eating soft icing sugar, isn't it? Totally bad for me because of my diabetes, but I don't care. I think sports tends to be like you would not know our English football players, and we don't know your American baseball or American football stars. We don't know them because it doesn't translate, it doesn't come over here. I stick my toes through handmade socks, Rebecca. And I haven't got sharp toenails or anything like that. They just don't seem to be as robust as commercial socks. Unless you're really into sports, which I'm not, as you can probably tell. I've got some strange or fancy expensive sock yarn, but I won't be using them for socks. I may use them for a hat, or I may use them for mittens, fingerless mittens or something. Or a scarf, yeah. I tend to buy, yeah, I tend to do that, Lydia. I tend to buy one skein of fancy yarn when I go to a yarn show, wool show. I have it to look at and pat, you know. I don't buy it to use it. I buy it. It's like a status, isn't it? You look at it and you think, oh, that's gorgeous. And you go and pat it and squish it, you know. But you don't really use it. Well, I don't anyway. Yeah, I've made a shawl. But then you've got to remember you've got to hand wash it. You can't. Yeah, it's a pet yarn. It really is. I mean, some of it is so. I got some from Countess Ablaze in Manchester. And it's so soft. It's got camel hair in it or whatever. And it is just so soft. I just keep like patting it. It's lovely to pat. It's like having a little pet, whatever, you know. But actually using it, really. A lot of the ones are very disappointing when you sort of knit them up. They look nicer in the skein. You know, maybe I should just keep them in the skein and like frame them or something. So I can look at it. I don't post any pictures of food or anything like that. It has to be something really spectacular for me. I did put a picture of um, the afternoon tea because it looked so sweet, you know, on its little tray thing like that. But normally I don't put pictures of my food, really. I just put that because I thought somebody might be interested in looking what an afternoon tea looked like. Okay, Kaz, you enjoy your little sleep. But I wouldn't put a picture of what I'm eating, you know, like this is the plate of dinner I'm having tonight, you know. It's, yeah, you know. Maybe if I went somewhere spectacular and the meal was absolutely out of this world, I might think about taking a photo. But usually by the time I think about taking a photograph, I've eaten it, yeah. Oh, thank you, Kaz. Yeah. As I say, I'm off out tomorrow, snow permitting. Um, but I can't really take photos where I'm going because it's a private function, so I won't be doing any photos, I don't think. Unless there's something spectacular there. Unless they have a wonderbar buffet or something like that, which I doubt very much, you know. I don't think anybody wants to see photographs of ham sandwiches, do they, you know? But, you know, one never knows, does one? Yeah, good night, Kaz, and I'm glad you're enjoying your new job. That's what we all hope. We're all in a job. Well, I'm not, I'm too old, but, you know, when anybody's working, they're in a job that they love, yeah. Nothing worse is than going to work every day and you hate your job and you hate the people that you're working with. That's happened to me a couple of times in my life. You know, when you're working with real prats, you know. Well, there's nothing worse than black. Grey's actually a lot better than working with black, yeah. Oh, thank you, and happy Mother's Day for you as well, Kaz. Anybody in the UK? It's Happy Mother's Day next week. Anybody in America has to wait, don't they? Because it's a different date. I don't know why it's a different date. I don't know whether Father's Day's on a different date. But like it's a long time since I've had, you know, Father's Day, Mother's Day for my parents. Sadly been long gone. Oh, there's Rosie barking at something. With Rosie, it's usually something and nothing. I don't like pink, but I like grey with pink and I like grey with lemon. Yeah, we don't turn our clocks forward. We've done ours already, haven't we? Spring forward, fall back. Yeah, we've done ours already. Yeah, I have to think about that. Spring forward, fall back, yeah. I know I hate losing hours of sleep. Not that it really bothers me because I wake up. Oh, that reminds me, I need to set my alarm. I've got to be up in the morning. I've got to be ready, dressed and ready for 10:30, which is a bit of a feat for me because I don't get up that early. Bye, Kaz. Night, night. Sleep tight. What they say, don't let the bed bugs bite. Oh, did they go forward? Oh, dear. I thought they'd already gone. I don't know. I'll just wait till they tell me. Do, 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 do. Yeah. I usually take painkillers to go to bed, because of me. When I lie in bed, my back and my chest. Oh, thanks. I'll have a look later, Jill. When I lie flat, that's when my back pain starts. So I take painkillers, which usually means that's why I don't wake up. But I need to wake up in the morning. I need to also set my alarm. I don't usually set an alarm for Sunday. Because, Sunday's day of rest, isn't it? Well, for some people, unless you have to work. But I need to set it tomorrow. I can't have my niece coming for me. Manny, I had it down that we were going out on the 19th. So it's a good job she reminded me, otherwise I would have been in bed when she called tomorrow. I'd forgotten all about it being on the 12th. I said, no. I said, you're wrong. I said, it's the 19th. She went, no, go and look at your invitation. And she was right. It was the 12th. She said, no, you told me ages ago it was the 12th. So a good job somebody's on the ball, isn't it? Yeah. My sister-in-law is loving her new place in London. Wouldn't do for me, though. It's very, very white. Very white and very, yeah. You know me. My house would be reds and purples and all colours of the rainbow if I was left to me. Loads of dream catchers hanging and twirly things hanging. That would be me if I was left to my own devices. I'm like that lady. If somebody has to tell me, you have to change your clocks. It's usually on Facebook, isn't it? Saying, remember, the clocks go forward. Oh, our little one would eat the whole day long. She's all right. Rosie will only eat when she's hungry, and she'll only eat what she wants to eat. If she doesn't want everything in the bowl, she will leave it. Yeah. Which means we have to lift it up and put it on the top of the cabinet, because otherwise the little one would eat all of hers and then go and finish Rosie's as well. And as French bulldogs tend to put weight on, we have to be careful. For what? Yeah, my computer changes and my phone clock changes, but you're a bit like me, Shad. I go to bed when I feel like it, and I get up when I feel like it, unless I have somewhere to go that's morning. Most of the things I go to are lunchtime or afternoon, so It doesn't matter if I have an extra hour or so in bed. But tomorrow I do have to be up because my niece is coming for me at 10:30. Hello, Lizzie. Hello. How is everyone? Well, I think we're all right. Depends whether you mean physically or mentally, you know. I've been taking painkillers, so I feel a bit fuzzy and out of it. So I'm firing on 3 cylinders instead of 4, as they say. Your internet was down. Oh dear. The internet is a wonderful thing when it works. Your throat's sore, my chest's sore, so we've got something in common. Every time I breathe in and out, it's like, and if I cough, oh goodness, that is murder if I cough. There's a lot of it about, though. I'm not on my own, so it's no good a moaning, is it? Keep going, you fool, as they keep saying. My necklace has got a piece of that transparent thread. That's what threads these together, and it's broken there, so it's sticking in my neck here. One, two. I need to count if I've got 48 on it. 3, 4, 5, 6, 6, 10, 14, 18, 22, 26, 30, 34, 36. That's nowhere near 48. Oh, 43. Keep going, you fool. Is my fire on? It definitely is. Definitely is my fire. It's been lit since about 5 o'clock. Hang on. No, I need to do a lot more stitches than 48 because that's the gap for the sleeve. My sleeve's got to fit in that gap there. And the sleeve's only that wide at the moment, so it needs a lot more. Yeah, I can't be doing with being cold. I can't be doing with it. It's rainy and cold here, yeah. You're a night crawler. I tend to get my second wind. Everybody else is going to bed and I'm creeping about the house because if I make a noise, the dog starts to bark. Yeah. So I'm like creeping about, trying not to make too much noise when they've all gone to bed. I mean, when I lived on my own, it didn't matter, you know. I was a real night owl. I mean, we're talking 1 and 2 in the morning, you know. That was my normal go to sleep. But when you're older, you don't need as much sleep, or so they say. I do my sleeping between, say, 4 o'clock in the morning, 5 o'clock in the morning, to when I wake up. Some days I don't wake up until 11, you know. It doesn't really matter, does it? Unless you've got to go to work or you've got somewhere to go. To me, it doesn't seem to matter to me when I get me 8 hours in. I don't get my 8 hours in at the same time as everybody else. I cannot go to bed at 10 o'clock unless I'm ill. If I went to bed at 10 o'clock in the evening, I would be lying wide awake until the early hours because my body clock does not tell me 10 o'clock is bedtime. Yeah. Yeah, it's just the way you are. You're either a night owl or a sparrow, is it, or something? I'm not a sparrow in the slightest. Yeah, we could go to bed about 4 o'clock in the morning. Although I couldn't go fishing. I'm sorry, Shad, I couldn't go fishing or crawl up the ladder up to your loft bed. I couldn't be doing that, dear. I'd be sleeping on the sofa downstairs. I can't do stairs anymore. It kills me. I think where I'm going tomorrow is actually upstairs, yeah. Where my bedroom is now, it's sandwiched between two rooms. It used to have sliding doors to the garden, but we built the conservatory on. So my sliding door now opens into the conservatory. So I'm shielded from all the noise, really, which is great because unless the dogs start to bark, that is the only thing that wakes me up. If they start barking their heads off, then that wakes me, you know. Luckily, they didn't hear the Amazon man today. Nothing exciting. It was only kindling for the fire and firelighters. Aria's going, why did you buy more firelighters? I said, because they didn't have any at the shop. And I am not getting to the stage where I am out of them. Yeah. I like to have, I'm a, not a prepper, but I'm always one that's always in front with everything. I like to have things in case. Yeah. It's like my hair dye. I always like, I've just done it now, but I want to have another one in so that when I decide to do it, I don't have to go to the shop and buy one. I've got one in, yeah. I've always been like that. I've always got, I can't buy on demand kind of thing. I've always got to have things in stock, yeah. It's my mum, I think. She was like that. Because she went through all the rationing in the war, she always wanted tinned. I mean, we didn't have a freezer or anything like that. Yeah. Um, yeah, I need to do that, with my hair. Because I suddenly get up one morning and think, oh my goodness me, I can't do with all these roots. So I wouldn't want to get dressed and get whatnot and then have to go all the way down. Because the shops around here are not local, they don't have them. No, I've always been like that. I've always had to have coffee, a spare one. If I buy one, I buy two. If you're with me, I have to have one in stock. And as soon as I use the one in stock, I have to buy another one for in stock because I cannot do with running out of anything. I've always got extra, like washing up liquid. I've always got extra. They don't here, and it drives me nutty. I want to open the cupboard and know that I've got another washing up liquid underneath the cupboard. I might have a full one on the window bottom, but I want to know there's another one in the cupboard. And that's always the way I've been. It's because of my mum. My mum went through all the shortages of the war, yeah. Oh, hi, Lulu. Yeah, I love always having a spare everything. I mean, even, no, it's not hoarding. It would be hoarding if you had um, two or three or four of something. That would be hoarding. If you opened your pantry and there was like four things of coffee, that's kind of hoarding, isn't it? But yeah, I like having a backup. Yeah, I always like having a backup of everything. That's probably where my stash of yarn came from because I don't like to have to think, I want to make a sweater. Oh, I've got to go and get the wool. Or, oh, I've got to go and order the wool online and wait for it to come. That would drive me bonkers, absolutely bonkers. Um, yeah, I didn't have data backup, did I, when my computer crashed? And I don't know if my friends managed to salvage anything. I gave her my tower and I gave her one of them little box things, where you store data on. But I don't know if she's managed to save anything yet. I'll have to ask her. Yeah, when I had the wool shop, I didn't have a stash. I didn't have one because I went to work and I had all the stock to choose from. Yeah. I only started hoarding once I lost the shop. Yeah. because I was so used to just going to work and deciding to make a sweater. And of course, I'd got the whole shop to choose from, yeah. But I think my hoarding started after that, when I lost the shop. Because I can't bear, if I decide I want to make a kind of, if I want to make a sweater, I may not have the right colour in the shed, but I've got enough to make a sweater in the shed if I decide I want to make one. Why are you kind of worried, Rick? What's on your mind today? I'm always worried, but not anxious, if you know what I mean. I don't suffer with anxiety, but I do get worried, obviously. The state of the world state of your pocket. Yeah, I was getting to that way, Lulu. I was getting really, my stash was out of control, yeah. You're worried about the IT and oh, that wouldn't worry me that. It's not one of my worries that. My worry is the electric gas bill going up and not having enough money because my pension sure as hell doesn't go up. I think I told you last week they're giving me £4 a week extra. That does not cover anything. Everything else has doubled in price. Food doubled in price. Everything. Oh, we've had the health service ITs going down on us a couple of times. No, I'm not buying. I'm only buying colours or things that I really need, Katie. I've got so much. And let's be honest and face facts. I am 77 and I've got more than enough in my shed to last me until I pass away. Yeah? Don't worry, be happy. Can you sing that as well, Shan? Don't worry, be happy. I don't particularly worry, you know, um, but it is slightly worrying the way the world's going at the minute. Nobody having any money and the way that the fuel's going up and everything. It's worrying for most people. When they don't have enough to stay warm and things. I don't have much money in my bank to lose anyway, and it's not under the mattress, believe me. I think the old people had the right idea, didn't they? Keeping it in their sock under their mattress, not trusting any banks. But these days, sadly, we use the banks for everything, don't we? We use credit, well, not credit cards so much. I don't use my credit card, but we use debit cards. It's like you lose track of your money. Hi, Susan. When you had so much money in your purse, you knew when you'd spent it, it was gone. But now it's so easy to get into debt if you don't watch what you're doing because you just, especially that tap business, you put your card there and tap it, don't you? Tap it. I mean, my niece has actually got it on her watch, and I think you just lose track of, when I used to get my housekeeping and it was cash and it was in my purse, you knew that by the end of the week when it was running out, you knew it was running out and you just couldn't get A, B, C, and D. You could just get A and B. But now it's so easy to just go and get A, B, C, and D without knowing whether you've got enough money in the bank to cover it. You know, because it's so easy to get an overdraft, isn't it? It's so easy to get into debt that if people are not very good at managing their money, yeah, I think it's wrong that they're saying we're not going to be using cash. And yeah, contact is easy, but you don't have like the same control over what you've spent unless you're constantly checking your bank balance. I mean, I never know. I know roughly what should be in the bank, but you know, when you have cash in your purse, you know exactly how much you've got. And, you know, it was oh, I would hate them to do away with cash. I really would. Because, you know, especially if you're going into a shop and say you just want a packet of chewing gum or something like that, you know, you don't want to be using your contactless just for a pack of chewing gum that maybe costs a couple of pounds, you know. You know, I don't want, you know, if I'm going to use my card, it's got to be worth something, you know. It's too easy to get into debt, especially with the younger people who don't have the same control that we have. Oh, here comes. Hello, Rosie. Hello, my darling. Hello, little girl. She came in, but she's gone out again. Yep, my daughter-in-law shut the door again. The little one didn't come in. The little one usually follows Rosie, but she didn't this time. Rosie always has to come in and say hello to me when she's on her way to her final evening wee. She's my darling, Rosie. She's my little girl. My son said this year's going to be the worst one, and then it's got to change some way or another. I mean, it's probably the same in the US, but it's dreadful over here in the UK. Hi, Sheila. You've been sewing on your machine. Oh, we tried to put that zip in my fleece, but it didn't work. It was just like stretching the fleece, so the zip finished up too small. I'm going to have to take it to the lady in the market that puts things in. But it's such a fag going all the way up to the market with it, yeah. But I can't do it by hand, it's too much. Cyber security, oh, that sort of stuff scares me. You know, like Big Brother is watching you and spammers are about and everybody's out to pinch your money and stuff. I think if any cyber scammers are found, they should throw the book at them because it's really bad. Oh, I don't know. They'll probably raise everything goes up, Lydia. Council tax and everything. There's always a big excuse. Oh, we need more money for this. We need more money for that. If we stop giving money to everybody, all and sundry abroad, and that we'd be all right. All these so-called people who are worse off than us. I know that there are a lot of people in the world worse off than us, but we're not exactly rolling in it in the UK. You know, I'm sorry, but charity begins at home. There's a lot of people in the UK that need the money a lot more. Council tax is what they use to pay the police, to pay for the amenities like the swimming baths and things like that, to repair roads and stuff. And it just goes up and up and up. Yeah. I don't know what ours is at the moment because I don't pay it. Well, I say I don't pay it. I do pay it, but we pay it together, if you know what I'm saying. I don't answer anything. It's like these things on Facebook where they say, "What's your mother's maiden name?" or something like that. But it's all to get information out of you, isn't it? I don't answer any of those. Because a lot of people would use that, wouldn't they, as a password or something like that, or as a remember when they say pick a word that makes you remember things. Yeah, I don't answer any of those. I just don't bother with them. And I don't answer any things, when they say, well, you have a parcel waiting for you, spam. Or um, your payment for Amazon didn't go through, spam. Yeah, no, don't answer it. Or you have a parcel waiting for you. No, I don't. Spam, go away. But a lot of people unfortunately fall for it. If they didn't fall for it, then the spammers wouldn't be doing it, would they? I'm not. Yeah, Big Brother's always watching us. They always have been. Big Brother watches your every move. It's like these people who said, "Oh, I don't want an ID card. I don't want people knowing what I'm doing." I'm like, "Oh my goodness, you're on cameras every time you go on social media, so why not have an ID card? You're just being stupid. You're being watched every minute of the day. If you want to be paranoid, people are watching you all the time. They're watching what you do. They're watching how many times you go to the hole in the wall. They're watching how many times you go on Facebook. It's just, you're being watched everywhere you go. You're on camera if you walk down the street. Good night, Rebecca. And yet people were saying, oh, I don't want an ID card. It's against our civil rights and human liberties and all that jazz. I'm like, oh, really? Yeah. Being monitored. Big Brother is always watching you. You can't get away with anything. Yeah. If you go in a store, you're on the camera. Everywhere you go, you're being tracked. It might be a fuzzy photo. It tickles me when a murder or something's happened and they find somebody on CCTV and it's always a big fuzzy picture, isn't it? Yeah. Yeah, it's just all this. Wherever we go, we're being monitored. It's just the way. Was it Aldous Huxley? Oh, I've been using a CPAP machine for about 15 years. I can't sleep without it now. I've got so used to it being there all the time that I actually feel weird when I've not got it on. The claustrophobic feeling just pass over, just pass by. It does make a little bit of noise, yeah. It's like a blowing noise, but you get used to it. It's like white noise. It's a bit like when you used to put the Hoover on for your baby to keep it to go, sleeping, or you put the radio on to keep it sleeping. Because if you didn't put the radio on when your baby was there, then it would every little. I mean, my son, honestly, any tiny little noise, he used to be wide awake. My friend said to me, he should have started putting the Hoover on when he was asleep. Because when I used to put the Hoover on when he was asleep, he used to wake me up. She said, that's because you didn't do the white noise bit. I don't even hear it now. I don't hear my CPAP machine, and I don't. The only thing that gets me is the strap marks, makes you get wrinkly bits. That's the only bit I don't like about the CPAP machine. But apart from that, you get used to it. I've had it about 15 years or more now. It's just second nature to strap it on. If I fall asleep without it, I mean, I have sleep paralysis. I don't know whether you do or not. That if I go to sleep without it, I wake up and I can't breathe, and I think I'm going to die because I think I can't take a breath in. And it's like a sleep paralysis. And eventually, when you feel like you're going to die, you take a breath. Yeah. That's why I won't sleep without it now. I hate that sleep paralysis. If I fall asleep in the chair, it shouldn't be blowing hard in the night unless it's leaking. Yeah, I have. If I fall asleep in the chair and I wake up and I feel as though I'm dying because I can't take a breath, it is like a sleep paralysis. And that's what worries me. I think if I sleep without it, one of these days I will not wake up because I will have died. That's what I don't like. So that alone makes me keep wearing it. Yeah, you're better off saying that. I wouldn't tell anybody my password for anything. And if I have to tell somebody my password because they're working on my machine or something, I change it. Yeah, well, it has to blow harder. If you stop breathing, it has to blow harder to keep your airway open. If you stop breathing, it has to woof to make you. Yeah, the thing is, you do wake up, Shad. You do wake up, but you know that you can't breathe. And you're not breathing. Your brain is telling you are not breathing, and that would be a horrible way to die, if you know what I mean. Oh, you finished your scarf. Hooray, Lydia, hooray. Yeah, that would be the awful thing about it. Yeah, is you do wake up. Sleep paralysis is awful. It's worse than yeah, it's worse than anything, and that's what used to scare me the most because I used to think I was, I'm gonna die, and I can't do anything about it. And you're willing your body to take a breath. And then eventually, obviously, before you pass out completely, you do. Although, there are instances where people do die from sleep paralysis because they don't take a breath. And that is what scares me. And also narcolepsy. Narcolepsy is worse because that's why I don't drive anymore. Because I can just go to sleep and not know. I can be in the middle of a conversation and just go. I've done it on here. I did it when I was at the other house. I passed out 2 or 3 times when I was actually um, on a live. And the only way I knew was I'd open my eyes and somebody would say, 3, 2, 1, John's back in the room, and I'd just go. Yeah. You remember me doing that, do you, Isaac? I did it 2 or 3 times. Thank you, Meadow, whoever you may be. You remember that as well, do you? Yeah. It was scary. I didn't even feel tired. This is the funny thing is, this is why I can't drive anymore, because I could do that. I could do that if I was driving. I could pass out completely. And it's not epilepsy or anything. It's called narcolepsy, and it's kind of like in the epilepsy family. Yeah, but that is scary when you just pass out. Really? Why? Excuse me. Are you into makeup? I'm not. I'm stuck in a rut with my makeup. I've got the typical old lady. Always had the same makeup for years. Right. 2, 1, 3. 2, 1, 3. Yeah, I've fallen asleep on. All right, bye, Lydia. I've fallen asleep on the garden wall, sitting on the garden wall outside, with my front door wide open, trowel in one hand and a spade, a fork in the other. And a neighbour's come across the road and to see if I'd passed out, died, or whatever. And she was like, come to wake me up, because she's saying, you've left your front door wide open, anybody could walk in, and I've gone to sleep. I went to sleep one time and I had friends round, and I woke up in the dark on my own, and my friends had gone, turned the light off, shut the front door and left. So I had to apologise the day after, and they said, we just couldn't wake you up, you were just gone. So we decided to go home. I thought, how you fall asleep in the middle of a conversation? So that is why I don't drive. I mean, now with my scooter, if it happened now, my scooter would stop, because as soon as you fall asleep, you take your hand off the accelerator, it would just stop the scooter. So at least you wouldn't plough into anybody and kill anybody. So it's fun. Having narcolepsy is fun. Yeah, it's scary when that happens, like you say. It's like that sudden adult death, isn't it? That's scary enough. When people go to sleep and just don't wake up. You have to get used to it, Susan. You have to get used to it, and you have to not let it worry you. When it happened to me at first, I used to be thinking all the time about what could happen and, am I going to die and all that. But you just have to switch off from it and not think about it and just get on with it. Yeah. Oh, hi, Bobby. Yeah, I won't. They told me I could reapply. I could apply to the DVLA if I hadn't had any episodes of narcolepsy and it was under control from a CPAP machine, that I could apply to the DVLA and all that. And I thought, no, I'm not going to do it. Yeah. What am I on my hook? I'm doing a sleeve of a baby cardigan. Oh, you like my lilac eyeshadow? Oh, and my makeup, I'm really stuck in a rut. I could do with going to one of those makeup demonstrations, but they make you want to buy all, and it's always loads of expensive makeup into which I don't intend to buy. But when you go to one of those, sometimes in the supermarket they have, um, where you can sit on a chair and get your makeup done. But for a fact it would have been this and that and the other and the other, and by the time you totted it all up, it'd be like 100 quid. So you're going for a swim? Okie dokie. Well, enjoy your swim. Oh, thank you, Susan. I was watching Kathy Burke the other day, and one of the women she was talking to was a model who was, I think she was 83 or something like that. And Kathy Burke said to her, you are very beautiful. And this woman said, you can keep on saying that. You can keep on saying that. So I will take that. Yes, I'm beautiful. I will take that. I know I'm not, but I'll take it, yeah. I had a very good friend who had epileptic seizures, and she had a few when I was with her. And I always knew she would suddenly go sort of vague. They call it episodes of vacancy or something. And then her eyes would start, and I would go, sit down, sit down. And she'd go, why? Why? I'm fine. I went to sit down, sit down. Luckily, she was a very slender, slight girl, and I was much bigger than I am now. And so when she went, I would save her from falling, if you know what I mean. And it was very scary because her son was about 2 or 3 at the time. And he would say, what's wrong with mummy? What's wrong with mummy? And, I'm trying to console him, like, while trying to pick her up type of thing. There was nothing that could be done. She used to come out of it. And, you know, but sort of, when I say I don't know her now, it's not because we've fallen out or anything. It's just I've moved, she lives somewhere else. Um, I believe she's more controlled. They found, the drugs that were right for her. So I believe she very, very rare has one now, yeah. Yeah. Thankfully that's not one of my problems, Susan. I am diabetic, but I don't. I feel weird when my blood sugar drops. Um, I feel a bit sort of faint and a bit not with it. But, I haven't actually had a seizure or anything like that, yeah. Yeah, with narcolepsy, you just go. Sometimes you go for a couple of minutes. Sometimes you go for longer. I mean, when I used to have them, when I was on lives, I believe I probably went for maybe a couple of minutes or so. I mean, the ones who were watching me could probably tell you more than I could. But, yeah, I think the first time my friend had a seizure, it scared me, but then I just learned how to deal with it. The last person I saw have a seizure was when I was in the swimming baths, and I could see this young man, and he was in the deep end, the 6 foot end, and he started doing that, looking around the lights, and I thought, oh shit, he's going to have a seizure. So I'm not much good of a swimmer, but I was there yelling to these lifeguards who were too busy having a conversation to listen to me, and I'm screaming at them, will you come, will you come, he's having a seizure. And They were useless. They had no idea. Anyway, fortunately, there was a nurse swimming with her little boy that came flying up, to help me. I was like trying to hold him up out of the water, which is not very good when you're not a good swimmer, and I couldn't, hold him up. Yeah. Oh, you have grandmas, yeah. I have an internet friend on here who has the drop seizures. She's had some horrendous sort of injuries because she's dropped and whacked her head somewhere, yeah. And, these lifeguards were absolutely flipping useless. I complained to the swimming baths. I said, you should train them into other things other than just life saving. But what annoyed me was they were youngsters and they were too busy having a conversation to even hear me shouting, that something was wrong with this guy. Well, I was a young teenager. But I say, but for that nurse, I mean, I couldn't have held him up in the water. I was frightened he was going to go underwater and drown. And when you're not a strong swimmer and you're trying to hold him up and he was like moving about, God, that was a nightmare. As I say, fortunately, there was a nurse there that came to my aid. But it was also a bit scary because this lad was on his own. You'd think if you were known to be an epileptic, you would at least go swimming with a friend. But I suppose it's not always possible, is it? Yeah, they can be. Like I say, my friend she didn't have the grand mals or the drops. She just had epilepsy. But I was always worried when she was like cooking because she'd be there with this little one who was about 2 or 3 at the time. And I used to think, oh my God, if she's cooking or something. I remember being down at her house one time and she said, will you look after the little boy while I have a bath? And I went, you're not having a bath. And she went, yeah, I'm just popping in the bath. I went, you're not having a bath. And she said, yes, I am. Yes, I am. And she ran the water. But before she could get into it, she had a seizure. And I said, I knew you were going to seize. I could see it in you. And she said, well, how come you knew when I didn't know? I said, it's just, I know you so well. I knew she was going to do that. And I thought, my God, if she'd have shut the bathroom door or locked it or something. And I was in the other room with her little boy. Fortunately, I prevented her from having a bath. Well, she didn't have a shower at the time. She just had a bath. And I said, please promise me. I said, you will not get in the bath without telling. Her sisters live next door. I said, please tell me you will tell your sisters that you're going to go in the bath. It is, but I mean, they've got to live their life, haven't they? They can't go through life never having a bath, can they? Because she didn't have a shower, yeah. Oh, good night, Isaac. Say hello to your pigeons for me tomorrow when you go to feed them. Oh, that reminds me. I've got a little sign on the outside of mine that says engaged or vacant. And I think it still says engaged because I went in for a shower earlier on. I need to change it back to vacant. Because my lock on my bathroom door doesn't really work. My son tried to make it work, but it doesn't. The trouble with my bathroom is it's like downstairs next to the kitchen, and if anybody gets took short while they're cooking, they tend to nip into my bathroom because their bathroom's upstairs. And also, if we have any visitors, they tend to go into my bathroom, which is a little bit awkward if I'm wanting to have a shower or something. The lock is so tight, like to get it in, it's not right. Is I'm always frightened if I lock it, I won't be able to unlock it again. So I tend to just put engaged or vacant on the outside and hope that nobody wants to come in. But I've just remembered it still says engaged, although they know I'm in here, so they know it's not engaged at the moment. But... How long does this sleeve have to be? Approximately 6 inches, really. It's not 6 inches, is it? Oh gosh, you've got chemo as well. My goodness, you're not having a good day, are you, Bobby? Eh? Yeah, I could do a little latch, couldn't I, like that? What am I making? I'm making a baby's cardigan, so this is the sleeve, yeah. It's not so bad when there's only us here, but when we have, like, my great-grandchildren come to visit, they don't come on their own. My great-granddaughters tend to come as a posse. They'll bring, like, 2 or 3 of their friends with them. So, it's a bit embarrassing. When I'm trying to have a shower, and I'm like, I hope none of the girls come wandering in. Oh my goodness, Bobby, you are not having a good time of it, are you, love? Oh gosh. Well, fingers crossed that your chemo works, yeah. We'll all have to keep our fingers crossed for you. Some people have all the luck, don't they, Bobby? Eh? There's me bothering about me breathing in and out because I've got a pain. I always think that I go on some people's channels, and when you think they enjoy being ill, yeah, and every time you listen to well, I don't call them a podcast, but whatever they call them, it's always some tale of woe, isn't it? They've got a headache, they've got this, they've got that. And I think to myself, there's so many people in the world so much worse. That's why I tend not to say much. Well, I hope I don't say much, when I've got things wrong with me, because I always think, oh, my God, what you've got is trivial compared to a lot of people. And like Bobby, poor soul, I mean, my little pain when I breathe in and out is nothing really. So that's why I get annoyed with what I call the permanently moaning people, and they've always got something wrong. They never come on and say, I'm feeling wonderful today. So I just, in fact, I've deleted a lot of them. I don't even listen to them anymore. Yeah, we've got one that comes to knit club, and everything's a disaster. It's this and that, and I'm like, ah. Yeah, they do, don't they? They bring you down. You go on, well, with me, it was YouTube mostly. You go on, don't you? Going to listen. And it's like, whoa, whoa, woe is me, woe is me. And I'm like, oh, for goodness sake, stop it. You know. So I try my best not to say, if there's something wrong with you at that time or that day, yeah, I tend to say, oh, I've got a bit of a cold, but, so's everybody else, blah, blah, blah. Because the world is full of people. My dad used to say there's a lot of people in the graveyard, wish they were you. If I said, oh, Dad, I'm this, I'm that, I'm the other, and he used to say, stop it, you know. And he was right. So I always think that when I have anything, saying, stop it, Janet, there's people who would love to be you. Yeah. So we're all with you, Bobby. We're all thinking about you, and we've all got positive thoughts going your way. Not that it will help you a lot, but it might do if you think we're all behind you. I do think that positive thoughts can't hurt you. If you've got the power of people behind you, it can't hurt you. So we're all behind you. We're all with you, Bobby. I'm sure we all are on here. Power of positive thinking. Shall we all think that way? We shall all give positive vibes. If we all do that, they always say if you put a prayer out to the universe listens. Yeah. So there we go. We are putting a prayer out to the universe. Doesn't have to be a religious prayer. It's just a prayer to the universe. You don't have to be a religious person to put your thoughts and things out to the universe. Yeah, positive vibes, yeah. We shall all think positive vibes for you. Yeah. I mean, I won't say that I'm unreligious or whatever, but I do believe in karma. Oh, I did have my breasts checked because I've got lumpy breasts. It's a lovely topic of conversation, isn't it? I've got very lumpy breasts. So I kind of don't know if it's a lump or if it's just lumpy. Yeah. So I was supposed to have them done quite often, mammograms, yeah, which I did. But now, when you get to 70, they stop them. So you're sort of like, yeah, but people still get it when they're in their 70s. So why have you stopped it? Yeah. But it's the NHS, isn't it? They running out of money, I suppose. No, my dad used to say that to me. If you keep complaining and you keep moaning, you'll lose all your friends because nobody wants to listen. When they say, how are you? They don't really want to know. So I usually say, same as usual. If anybody says, how are you today? I say, same as usual. Or a bit worse than usual. If I'm having a truly badly day, yeah. Because it's being polite when somebody says, how are you? They don't want you to take a deep breath and launch into a whole medical conversation, do they? It's kind of a generalization into, oh, how are you today? Yeah. Yeah. I usually say, about the same. Oh, nothing has changed. It's another of my sayings, yeah. Same as yesterday. I am splitting me wool here. Or me yarn, as I should say. Why is it suddenly splitting? I managed to do the whole of the other row, and yet this row is splitting. Got it. I know, I have a friend like that. If you just say good morning, how are you? You get, they wait for you, don't they? Yeah. But after a while, you lose sympathy, don't you? You know? I know it sounds horrible, but you do. You lose sympathy when somebody is constantly. And you know that they're no worse than you are when it all boils down to it, you know. And they're a lot better than a lot of people, yeah. So you really don't want them. Ah, well, you think, oh no, here we go. Here we go. My fingers are starting to hurt with this crochet. I think it's all this back post and front post and stuff like that. You're weaving a little bear on a weaving loom. You're crochet. Oh, amigurumis. Do you know that's one thing I can't do, Bobby? My tension isn't tight enough for little toys and amigurumis. They're too slack and all the stuffing like pokes out. And as for having to embroider a face on anything, oh boy, my little faces would scare anything. I just can't do faces. You know, I embroider them on and take them off again and put them on again and take them off again. And yet some people on here, I mean, Kim, is she called Blue Cherub? She does the most fantastic little amigurumis and they all look cute. You know, mine wouldn't look cute. Mine would look, oh. I made a doll once for my younger niece's daughter. That face went on and off, on and off, on and off. And in the end, it still looked like something that would scare a child. I think I read somewhere, is it the Amish that don't put faces on things? Yeah, yeah, Kim, she makes the fantastic little toys, doesn't she? Absolutely. She's really got the knack, hasn't she, for doing anything. She whizzes them up so fast, doesn't she? Everything she makes, she's like, whoop, done this, whoop, done that, whoop. I watch a lady called Rose from the Philippines. I think she's called Rosita. She goes by Sadiq Aki. She can look at a cartoon character, you know, in a comic book and make it. And she doesn't have patterns or anything like that. She just works them out. And I'm like, oh boy, I couldn't even make that with a pattern. She's just been, they've been doing yarn bobbing in the Philippines and they've made the most gorgeous, like, great big mandalas. But they seem to have used, you know, the hula hoops, what we call the hula hoops. And her and her friends have yarn bombed this place with these like mandalas on hula hoops. Yeah, she cannot follow a pattern, Rose. She can follow, I think, like a kind of a chart, but she just looks at something and does it. And I mean, I can do certain things, but I couldn't do that. I could not make a toy by just looking at the cartoon character. No, that is, like you say, that's real talent, which I don't have that side of thing. No, I can do a garment, I can find a stitch that I like in a stitch book and I can incorporate it into a garment. But that comes from the fact that when I first started crochet, there weren't many patterns. But I couldn't do a toy. Even those mandalas, I couldn't do that without her. Oh yeah, there's lots of them, and they're actually talking about down the high street at Cleveland's. There's these bollards, little short bollards. It's to stop the cars going onto the pavement, yeah. And apparently, there's some people in Cleveland's who are actually going to be crocheting or knitting toppers for these bollards. And I thought, no, I'm not volunteering to cover a bollard. It's not my thing. I have done yarn bombing with little things like flowers, and we once did a load of musical instruments and music notes and things for a music concert we did. We hung them on lampposts and something. How long have I been crocheting? Since I was 13, and I'm 77 now. So quite a while. But I've been knitting since I was about 5, yeah. I remember that one of the guys that was at Knit Club with us, he did some beautiful like top hats and things like that. Only little top hats. I don't mean big adult top hats. And he put one on a lamppost, but it was quite high up. And it was still there about 3 years later. It had started off like being white with a black border around it. And of course, with all the weather in Salford and all the muck that was thrown up from the road, it was absolutely manky, if you know what I mean by manky. But it was still there after all those years. I mean, I wouldn't mind doing those little worry worms when I've ever got time. You put a little poem, don't you, on a worry worm, and you leave them for people to pick up, or little butterflies. I mean, another of my friends made hats and scarves and left them around and said, if you are really cold and in need, then please, by all means, take this hat. But, it was more or less worded that don't just take it just because you like it type of thing. If you're really in need and you don't have a hat. It was kind of aimed at the homeless type of people, really. Or if you don't have a scarf, please take the scarf. I only took part in the flowers and the sort of, we did we called it like freeform, scumbling, whatever, with little twirly things, a bit like the octopuses with the twirly bits. I took part in a lot of that and just hung them everywhere. But it was kind of done, organised through our knit club, if you're with me. But I mean, the weather in the UK, yeah. Well, it was worse where we used to live before because Manchester is renowned for the rain. But having said that, there's more rain in Fleetwood than there ever was in Manchester. But they don't usually stay there long enough. Somebody usually steals them. It's like a lot of the post office post box toppers. They got stolen. I mean, why? They don't fit anywhere else, do they? But they probably stole them because they had the little toys on the top. And I mean, why you would want to take a wet through stinky toy home? I don't know. Yeah, I did a lot of baby things for the the premature baby unit when I lived in Manchester. I did them for Bolton. But then I got fed up because I was in a knit club and I was making them all. And somebody from the knit club was taking them. And we got this letter back, thanking the whole of the knit club for their efforts and everything like that. And I thought, hang on a minute. So I just said to them all, they said they wanted more. That was right. So I said, okay, I've done my bit. I said, how about the rest of you? Bear in mind it was a knit club with about 12, 14 people. How about the rest of you doing some? And that was the last donation the knit club ever made because I didn't make any. Oh, I lost my crojo, if you remember, round about Christmas time. I got really, really despondent, with the fact that I make all these things and can't sell them. And it made me feel very devalued, very, why am I bothering? Because nobody wants them. Oh, everybody loved them. Everybody said they were wonderful, marvellous. But when it comes to putting the hand in the pocket, nobody wanted to do it. So I just went completely off my crocheting around about the Christmas period. And the number of people who told me to make blankets with my stash for cats and dogs and stuff. And I thought, no, sorry. I'm not in the financial position to do that sort of thing. I've done piles and piles of hats for the homeless when I lived in Manchester. But I was in a better financial position back then. I mean, now everything's gone up except my pension. So I'm spreading my pension round a lot thinner than I used to. So I don't have the money to donate things like I did before. So, and also I don't know. I used to know an outlet for the hats for the homeless when I was in Manchester. I knew where to take them and where to send them, stuff like that. But here I don't know anything. I dare say I could find out if I was going to do them. I may break out my Addy machine again. Although my Addy machine, the hats come out a bit small if I'd done them in double knit. The Addy is geared to the American size 4, yarn. Oh, I've got hiccups now. If you can use any American yarn, they come out perfectly right size. When you do them in double knit, they come out more for a teenager or a small lady. They don't come out big enough for a homeless guy. And if I used iron, it was a bit, unless I used cheap acrylic iron, anything with wool in it was hard to crank because it was a bit too thick. Yeah. Oh, thank you, Lulu. I just get a bit down and despondent sometimes, I think I get more despondent when I see things for sale for like hundreds of dollars. And I'm thinking, I'm not being big-headed, but mine are better made than that. And you're thinking, why do they sell them for about $100? And I can't get like 30 or 40 pounds for mine. And I'm like, you do get a little bit despondent, You're like, just because I'm not 25 and able to prance about wearing a bikini top, is that why? So I'm still working on it. I'm determined that this year is going to be my year. my horoscope did say I was going to get a new career. I thought, a new career at 77? I don't think so. I'd be quite happy with the old career I used to have, where things used to actually sell, But It's like everything in this world. People don't have a lot of spare cash anymore. People who were my regular customers, they were all in America. And, the postage and things like that, and Etsy being so greedy, they put the top hat on all that sort of stuff. I mean, they take so much off me. Etsy makes more profits than I do, yeah, on anything I sell. Yeah, the Addy. I'll break it out again. I keep saying I'm going to get it out again, yeah. Oh, thank you, Meadow. I wish somebody would pay for my crochet. I've made 3 videos today in the vain hope that somebody will see something and say, "How much is that? What size is it, please?" Yeah. I used to be able to sell, which is how come I've got such a big inventory, because I used to have an Etsy shop, and I used to be able to sell things. But Etsy started being greedy. Then they started saying they wouldn't promote any of my things unless I offered free postage. I couldn't offer free postage because it would cost me at least £20 to post anything to America. So obviously, to offer free postage, I would have to add the cost of my postage onto whatever I was selling. So say I was asking £20 for something, I would have to ask £40 for it to say post free. Then, of course, I'm in competition with anybody who's in America who is selling their things for maybe 25, because the post within America, I believe, I don't know, you can get a little box and everything within that box goes for a certain set amount of money. Whereas in England, everything gets weighed, and everything gets whatever. So it's about £20 to post the smallest thing to America. Yeah. Yeah, I am going to start, Jean. Oh, hi, Nancy. Sorry. I am going to start doing some more concentrated advertising and just hope for the best. Yeah. I'm determined that this year is going to be my year to sell what I've got. I'm not bothered about a business anymore, but I've got such a huge inventory that I do need to sell some of the things I've already got. Yeah. Instead of which people say, "Oh, what you've made is absolutely gorgeous and wonderful. Do you have the pattern?" And I'm like, "No, because I just made it up." Yeah. Well, have you written the pattern down? Like, no, I don't write patterns down. Or if I did, you wouldn't understand them because I use UK terms and I don't use US terms. And also, I would say do such a thing for so many rows, whereas people who ask me for things want to know like the stitch count at the end of every row. They want to, oh gosh, yeah. Oh, that's nice, Jill. They all right? Everybody all right? Yeah. So I just could not compete with the American market anymore, and also they wanted me to have an American tax code number, which obviously I don't have. Yeah. Any tax I would pay here in the UK. I mean, the last thing I sold on Etsy, I just finished up with next to nothing for it because by the time they'd taken this off and that off and the other, people say, "Oh, they take so many percent off." They don't. They sneaky have other little charges that they suddenly add on when you've sold something. I mean, I sold something for £20 and finished up with about £7. And then I had to pay postage on it. So I might as well have just given it to the lady. You've been back and forth, have you? Well, where have you been then, Rick? We want to know. Was it interesting where you've been to? Well, I think I'm actually almost up to the armhole now, so I'm not going to start another sleeve tonight. And I've got to go to bed soon because I've got to get up in the morning. think I've found my clothes because I'm terrible at choosing first thing in the morning. I'll be like, what am I going to put on? Yeah. So I think I've decided what I'm putting on. I'll lay it all out tonight. So it's all there, laid out, ready. You're having a bag salad. I love a salad. Do you know that? The other day I went down to Marks and Spencer's. If you're in America, you won't know what Marks and Spencer's is, but they do food, but it's very expensive, but very good quality. So I got myself a lovely salad from there, yeah. Yeah, they hold on to money, don't they? They don't give it you for so many days, and it's all, I mean, why should they hold on to your money for so many days? They either give it you, they don't, yeah. Oh, Marks and Spencer's is well known, yeah. Great food, as I say, but you couldn't do your week's shopping there. Well, you could if you were rich, but we're back to this, back to the, oh, yeah, if we're rich. Which, of course, all of us on here are tremendously rich. This is why we're all sat in on a Saturday night instead of being on a round the world cruise, isn't it? Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, I hesitate to call myself a designer, and yet I see some of these young uns. Oh, I've designed this, and I'm like, no, you haven't. It's as old as the plumbing hills. How can anybody design a granny square? Granny square and granny square coats have been around since Adam was a lad, yeah. Well, I don't know. They go through periods where they really hit the doldrums, M&S, and then they come back, they bounce back again, and I think it all depends on management and what they do. They'll always have a band of loyal customers. I mean, the food hall is always packed. And despite it being very expensive, it's always packed, and it's only a very little outlet. And when you think that Cleveland's is not a particularly um, prosperous neighbourhood, yeah. I mean, I bought things from Shine, and to be quite honest, they are rubbish. The material that they use at Shine or Shein, whatever they call it, is rubbish. I mean, a couple of washes and they fall to bits. It's a bit like Primark over here, isn't it? If you want cheap and cheerful. I mean, the things I bought from Shine, I mean, a lot of them will be going on eBay because they're just not right, yeah. You're very cheerful tonight, Rick, telling us all these things that are going bump and bang. And come on, it's Saturday night. You're worse than John with his beast from the east, aren't you? Yeah. Yeah, I was watching a girl. She's made a little bra top and little shorts out of that blanket yarn that's a bit fuzzy. She's made shorts and that out of it. Admitted she's like a number one on a door, but it's soft and it's fluffy and it's meant for a baby blanket. I mean, I'm not being funny, but if you're wearing shorts and you've got friction, between your legs, there's got to be a big hole there, isn't there, surely? It's too soft and too fluffy. And not only that, it's chunky. So it's not exactly very flattering, is it, if you're a bit bigger than a size 0? And I'm like, what? And then there was another girl who'd made this long granny square jacket in the same yarn, that big, what I'm talking about. It's super chunky, isn't it? Fluffy blanket yarn. And, I'm thinking, no, Maybe they only want to wear it once and throw it away. I don't know. Yeah. But can you imagine how sort of sweaty it would be? Shorts in that thick, chunky, fluffy yarn. You know. And these sweaters that these sweet young things are making on the Addy machine, they look ugly. And they're rolling up and they're going, oh. And what's with this trend of calling your jumper? They'll hold it up and they'll say, she's lovely. And I'm like, she's lovely. It's a jumper. Why is she lovely? You know. Well, nobody wants to see my big fat legs anyway. But I mean, I think even if I was in my 20s, I wouldn't want to wear a pair of shorts made out of thick, fluffy yarn. Yeah. But making these jumpers on the Addy, and they don't put a ribbon round them or anything, they're just all curling up round the bottom. And they're horrible. And it's like a fashion that everybody's making them, and I'm thinking they're ugly. They're not nice. You know. Oh, I made this in a couple of hours. I'm thinking, yeah, it looks like you did as well, yeah. Am I just being catty because I'm not one of these sweet young things that can make things? But they are particularly ugly, these sweaters. They don't even put a border on them. They don't put a ribbon on them. And they make sleeves that are like yards too long. Yeah, but if it was very, very hot, Rick, would you want a thick, fluffy pair of shorts? You wouldn't, would you? You'd want a pair of fine shorts in cotton or something, yeah. Obviously, I am not the latest fashion and I'm not trendy. Maybe, you see, to sell all these, I'm making a baby sleeve. I've just finished it, yeah. Maybe if I had like an avatar or I did one of those things, you know, that you can do with them apps that makes me look 20, yeah? And then I could go, hey, I've just made this boho top ready for the season. Are you going to come to the festival with me? What's it called, that festival that everybody goes to? Conchetta or something, where they all go. Can't think what it's called now. They're all making tops for it, aren't they? What is it called? It begins with a C. And no rude answers, please. No, it's not called the corner. It's called Coachella. That's it. Coachella. Where they're all going to that. It must be a big event somewhere in America, Coachella. I mean, in my generation, it was Woodstock, yeah. Oh gosh, I've got one sweater that I made from a Doris Chan book, and it's gorgeous. It is lovely. It's got big flared lacy sleeves, and I call it my doorknob hanger upper because it catches on everything. And everybody goes, "Oh, that's so gorgeous. Why don't you make some?" And I'm like, I couldn't, in all honesty, you know. I'd have to call it a door hanger upper. Right, I think I'm done now. I think I've done a sleeve. There you are, one little sleeve done. At least I've got something done. Oh, every time. And you go past the doorknob and you're always going past at speed, aren't you? It stops you dead in your track, especially if you're carrying a couple of cups, you know. And you're like, Mind you, one of my loopy jackets once got caught on Tony Christie, on his cufflink. That was an interesting 5 minutes. He smelled gorgeous. He had the most fantastic aftershave on. And I remember him saying, darling, next time just ask for my autograph. He patiently untangled himself. He had the pictures of a saint. I'm going, just pull. And he's going, no, no, no. And he patiently undid his... It was one of those double cufflinks that used to be the fashion. And he got it stuck in my loopy jacket. And there we were in the foyer, linked together for about 5 minutes. And he was very young in those days, very good looking. I mean, he's still not bad for his age now. He's about 80 now, I think. And I remember thinking, and all I could smell was his aftershave. Wasn't one of those cheap ones, you know. Really gorgeous smell it was. And my friends were all chinking, laughing, you know. Trust you. To get hooked up to Tony Christie. I once got picked up by George Best. Literally got picked up by George Best. I was late for a hairdressing appointment, and at the time my hairdresser's was next door to the shop he used to own. He used to own a menswear shop in Manchester. And I was late, so I had my head down and I was scurrying along, and I bump, slap, bang, bump, straight on the floor, boom. And I remember looking up, and this gorgeous young man picked me up, and I'm like, oh my God, it's George Best. And he's going, are you all right? It was totally my fault. It wasn't, it was me, because I'd cannoned into him. Totally my fault. Are you okay? Please say you're okay. You know, are you all right? Would you like a drink? Would you like a coffee? Yeah. Oh, he wasn't drunk at the time. He was very, very young, very handsome, and at the height of his career. And I was like, yeah, I'm fine, I'm okay. And my ex-husband, who was a mad Manchester United fan, when I got home and I said, I crashed into George Best, and he picked me up, and he was lovely. He was absolutely gorgeous. He said, did you get his autograph? I said, it was hardly the time to ask him for his autograph when I'd just nearly knocked him flying, you know, nearly sabotaged his football career. No, he wasn't drunk back then. It was when he was in his heyday, when he was young and very, very handsome, yeah. And so polite, you know, like it was all his fault and it was me. I bashed into him. But I was in the hairdressers after that, all of a flutter, and I'm going, oh, I've just crashed into George Best. Oh, yeah, that was when he was older. But when he was young, he was fantastic. A fabulous, fabulous footballer. Oh, hi, Nana Michelle. Yeah. You've got the sinuses, I've got the cough. Yeah. But there's nothing wrong with me, according to my GP. It doesn't feel like nothing wrong with me when I'm in the middle of the night coughing. Yeah. But no, according to my GP, there's nothing wrong. Cheers. Dandelion and burdock, cheers. Yes, I must admit I was a bit of a George Best fan when he was younger, because he was lovely. He was gorgeous. And I did see him once before, when he crashed his car into a lamppost. I think he'd had a couple that night. I was on my way home from, I don't know where I'd been. I was on my way home. And he had what was it? One of them fancy cars, Lamborghini or something. And he crashed into a lamppost. And I didn't stop. He was there with the police and one thing and another. He probably had a few. But again, it was at the beginning of his career when he crashed his... It was on a bend, to be fair, and he'd gone straight instead of going around the bend. So he'd smashed his car up. Absolutely beautiful car, all splattered. Not that it would have bothered him. Yeah, it was so sad. That's the problem, you see. They get too much money and they get into the habits. If it's not drink, it's drugs, isn't it? It's one thing or the other. You know, I mean, he just ruined himself, didn't he? And the thing was, he knew it. Towards the end of his life, he knew what he was doing. And that was the saddest part. He kind of couldn't stop and he knew what he was doing. I'm going to eat a Turkish delight before I go to bed. Yeah, at least we don't have a lot. I'm not saying we don't have guns. Unfortunately, we do have guns now in the UK. But it's not as prevalent as it is in the US. We have a lot of knife crime every time I open the paper. And it's usually youngsters that are knifing each other. You know, teenagers wandering around with knives, you know. We were talking about that at Knit Club, you know, about the lottery and how you get one person who wins gazillions. We were saying it would be fairer, you know, if they limited it to like 1 million or 2 million and more people won. I mean, 1 million or 2 million would really change someone's life. They don't need 230 million, do they? You know, because that just sends them off their head, doesn't it? You know, 1 million would be fine for me. I'm not greedy. 1 million would be fine. I would share 1 million with 230 other people. But no, you see, they don't want that, do they? They want you to think you're going to win 230 million, yeah. Yeah, exactly. 30 winners would be far better than just one. You know, it ruins people's lives, doesn't it? Let's face it. If you're a poor person, never had any money, and then overnight you get 230 million, you know, it ruins their life. Now, you see that, to me, that is thuggery. That you should not, it should be brought to task for that. That is complete and utter thuggery. That just shows a lack of upbringing, to me, lack of respect. You know, that is bad behaviour, bad manners, whatever you want to call it. I don't care how much money he's got. If I was his manager, I'd just drop him. Nobody's worth that much money to be that badly behaved. I mean, this is what happens. Footballers do something and they fine them what would be a huge amount of money to us. And that, to them, it's like half a week's wage. Yeah, exactly. Why has it got, they get an inflated opinion. In about 2 years' time, and he has an accident and he can't play anymore, he'll be a nobody. He'll be a nothing. You know, to me, I'm like, if I'd ever been in that position, which I never would have been, but if I'd ever been in a position of earning that kind of income, I would be thinking, what about when I'm older? I'll invest this money. I'll just live on a normal amount of money. Yes, you can have nice sporty clothes, you can have nice shoes, etc. But I would be thinking, what happens when it all comes to an end, which it normally does with a footballer? It just, end of story, crashes to an end. A few people make it, don't they, onto something else, but most of them just crash and burn. And I'd be thinking, I'm going to put a lot of that money on one side. I'm going to get myself a job or something like that. You know, there's a lot of people in the UK, a lot of footballers who just blew it all, bought cars and everything like that. Career comes to an end, they're nobody, they're on the dole, they're on the street. A few of them have got sense. They'd invested in, restaurants. One of them run a racing stable. He had all these horses and stuff. You've got to think about a career that happens when you're no longer able to play football. Or you finish it with like a drunk like George Best. He got away with it because he was George Best and people wanted to listen to him talking and giving, lectures and stuff. But then you get people like Paul Gascoigne, who's practically in the gutter, because he's just made a mess of his life. He can't play football anymore. Nobody wants to know him anymore. He's just a big drunk. Maybe it's just the way I was brought up. I'd be thinking about what happens when it all ends. I mean, I've never been an actress, but say I was an actress and I got a big role, say in Coronation Street or something like that. I'd be thinking tomorrow it will come to an end. I'm not being pessimistic. I'm just being realistic. I'd be thinking, yeah, I'm earning all this money now because I'm in Coronation Street. But tomorrow they could say to me, you're not in Coronation Street anymore. And then I would be a nobody, a nothing, a jobbing actress. Huh? Yeah, exactly. I'm just a realist, I think. You've got to think about what will happen tomorrow. These glorious lifestyles don't last. It's like actresses. They appear in one film and they're brilliant in one film. And then every other film they make after that, they're nothing because it was a fluke, But then they're still living this millionaire lifestyle and everything, and then they wonder why they're in debt with the IRS and all that. There are a few people, though, that you can remember that used to be. You remember the big ones, yeah? You remember the Michael Jordan, you remember the Kobe, you remember. Most of them you don't remember. Oh, I admit, I'm sorry, but I don't like US chocolate. Everything today is so much easier to get. I mean, when I was younger, I wouldn't have known where to buy any drugs. If I wanted to buy any drugs, I wouldn't have known where to go. My generation didn't get drunk because we didn't have the money. A few people, a few people did get drunk. You'll always get them in any generation, you'll get drunks. But mostly, by and large, my generation of teenagers, we weren't rolling around on the floor like they are now. It upsets me to see girls so, so drunk, they're not in control of their bodies. And I'm not condoning rape in any shape or form. But if you lose control of your body and you're laying on the floor and you don't know what day it is, I'm sorry, but whatever happens to you is partially your fault. Yes, I know men shouldn't take advantage of women. I know all that story. But if you're laying on the floor senseless because you're so drunk you don't know what day it is, you lose whole portions of your life. No. I'm not condoning rape at all. I don't want you to think that I am, because I do think it's wrong. But I am just saying girls should be in more control. They shouldn't get themselves in that state where they don't know what day it is. what they're doing, where they are. And it's kind of like a trend that they go out and they get absolutely hammered. Oh, what a good night I had. I don't remember going home. Yeah. Huh? What? That was my daughter. I got berserk. I mean, I'm not saying I've not been drunk, but when I say I was drunk, it was more like merry, happy, but always in control. Always knew where I was. I might have been a bit fuzzy headed, you know. That was my interpretation of being drunk. Was because I was like slurring my words and a bit happy, happy, happy. But I've never lost periods of time. You know, I've always known who I've been with, where I've been. Yeah, enough to have fun. But I don't believe in this culture where girls get smashed out the head on a bottle of vodka before they even get out. You know, they're falling about. They're just legless, absolutely legless. Laying on the pavement, you know. I'm like, oh, God, you know, if I was your parents, I'd be going bonkers. I would be like that now, Jill. Couple of drinks and I'm off my head. I prefer to have one drink at home, yeah. Yeah, I know men have got to have self-control, but when men have had too much to drink as well, their sense of decency goes out the window as well. You know, what they would do when they're stone cold sober is different to what they would do when they're drunk. I can't drink anymore, but I never could really. But it's all gone crazy. It's not only the drink that they're having, they're popping all sorts of stuff that they buy off people they've never met before. So they're buying all kinds of uppers, downers, whatever they call them. And they don't know who they're buying them off, do they? They don't know whether it's adulterated or what it is. You know, it could be rat poison. They just don't know, do they? Yeah, I'm going to bed in a minute as well because it's 20 past midnight. And I've got to get up in the morning. I'm off out on my knees. So I have to do a little bit of tidying up. I don't drink much anymore, but I'm not a teetotal. You know, I'm not one of those, you know, drink will never touch my lips. I'm not one of them people. But I just don't feel the need to get drunk. I'll have a drink. Yes, I will. I'll enjoy a drink. You know, many a time on a Friday night or something like that, I think, just fancy a drink. But a drink. We're talking a drink here. Maybe when I pour it myself, it's like a double, but I'm fully in control of my faculties, you know what I mean? I mean, I'm going out tomorrow, but I don't know whether there'll be any alcohol where I'm going. Probably there will be, but I may have one. I tend to just pick a J2O, which is like an orange juice or something. But drink doesn't appeal to me. No, there's nothing wrong with drinking. I would never say to people, oh, you can't drink. You know, all I would say was just drink in moderation. Yeah. You like the Shirley Temples more. We have what we call mocktails now. I've never had one, but that's what they call mocktails, yeah. I've never smoked, yeah. I can't say too much in case anybody who's going to be there, it's a surprise party. So that's all I can say. They don't know anything about it. So I can probably tell you more when I come back. Hopefully they've got no idea. You know, it's going to be a surprise, yeah. Yeah, I don't mind a lager in the summer. You know, when it's hot and you're outside. And I like a shandy as well, you know, it's mostly lemonade with just a bit of beer. But I do like lager with a bit of lime in it, yeah. Well, hopefully it'll be fun, yeah. So I shall let you know when I come back what it was and whether this surprise was spoilt, whether the person whose surprise it was knew anything about it, or whether it was a complete and utter shock to them, yeah. I don't know. It depends how good everybody's been at keeping the secret. Yeah, I'm live every Saturday, 9 o'clock my time, but I believe it'll be a bit different for you next week if you're in America because the clocks alter. Yeah. So whatever 9 o'clock UK time is, that's when I come on and say, hi, everybody. Whether you want me or not, I'm here. So we're all positive thinking, Bobby. We're all behind you. We're all positive thinking. Anyway, I'm going to go, people. Thank you very much for keeping me company. As usual, it's been a great evening. And I shall see you all maybe in the week if I make any more videos, because my goodness me, I have got so much stuff to show people. If I went through the shed, it would take me about a month, I think, to do all the videos I need to do. So hopefully I will see you all very, very soon. And I'm going to go to bed now. So good night all, and thank you for keeping me company. I can't say bye-bye to everybody individually, but bye all. Thank you and good night. Bye-bye.